right, here we are with another Fox 5 Amplified. Talia Kirkland, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
I love this story. Okay, so you've got these kids who are doing something great for their community. I'll kind of let you explain the story that you did.
Joe, I also love this story.
Yeah.
So this family, she has 4 kids, all born in July. So instead of doing birthday gifts, receiving, these kids for years have been collecting donations to give to our SOS back to school drive, which I think is amazing.
It is amazing.
And they do it and they're happy about it. And it's the norm for them. So it's the norm to give. And I asked Letitia, who's the mother, I said, what made you think to do this? And she said, I remember being that kid who didn't have everything, when it was time for back to school. Yeah. And I remember how she said how she focused on that instead of, school. And she doesn't want other kids to go through that. And even though her kids are fortunate and they won't have to experience that, now they have that empathy.
Yeah.
And, from the oldest to the youngest, and she had a wide range of kids, some going into high school, some middle school age, some elementary, and they all were excited about this. And I was like, wow.
I know. I looked at the interview and, when she talked about how she had nothing, I think she got a little emotional.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because, as a kid, birthdays are everything. I mean, you've got your friends over, you get your cool toys, your parents give you a gift, but, they just take, no gifts, please. Give backpacks or crowns. That's just great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I thought also what was really cool is she didn't give up on this back to school drive. She didn't give up on collecting things. The first year she said, we only got one neighbor or so who participated. She said, and I just, me and my kids went to the store to, fill most of the donations. But after year, the kids' friends started to look forward to doing it and the other families in the neighborhood. So it became just a charitable thing that was, a norm for this community, for this family. And it was just exciting to see. And then when they finally came out to drop everything off, I mean, what a big, huge impact.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you just see this and you're just, again, it's just kind of shocking to see. We shouldn't be shocked, I guess. I mean, it's just a great thing to see kids doing. So how much did they get? Like, again, initially when they started, and how much did they get this year? How much did they drop off?
So she told me first year she started with like one backpack. She filled in the rest, buying things. Yeah. This year, they already had boxes full at the birthday party, but by the time they arrived at Finley Subaru, they must have gotten some more donations because Dad was hauling boxes out of the car, and we estimated that it was probably about $850 worth of supplies. Wow. And while that number, people go, oh, well, how much? That's a lot of school supplies because, folders aren't that expensive, scissors, notebooks. So, I mean, it was a lot of items, which makes an impact for students across the valley.
Yeah, and we talked about this so many times. I mean, there's such this need out there with some parents who are just, they're struggling to pay, their AC bills right now and prescription medications. And then now you've got 2 or 3 maybe kids and you have to buy supplies for all of them. It's like, where do you come up with that money?
Exactly. And I know you're a parent, so you're familiar with the back to school rush. I kind of wasn't, I was kind of going into this blind. And as we've been doing these back to school stories, the expense that each parent has to pay per child is upwards of $700 per child. I mean, if you have 1 or 2 or 3, I mean, that's a range too. That's an estimate. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but that's a lot of money, especially for families right now who are facing other things, like you said, AC, medications, things like that. And then we also know that we have a lot of grandparents who are, helping out and taking on that load. Yeah. So this is not just an impact to families, but generational impact, to give back.
Yeah, and there's such a kind of a long-term ripple effect of it, if you will. And again, that all the money, the technology too, they have to buy computers and this and that. That's where, that figure gets so high. But then it's almost like a birthday for some of these kids when they get the supplies that maybe the other kids didn't get when they were collecting the supplies, because here they are getting these, brand new school supplies for nothing.
Exactly. And one of the things that her kids said, not only did they collect these donations on their birthday.
Yeah.
But then they asked me, they said, can we volunteer to sort them or hand them? So this is instilled in them.
Right.
So it's not just a back to school drive for her kids. This is something that they will have this empathy that will carry them through, hopefully through their lives, that they will always lead with that empathy for others. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, because how she remembers when she was young that she had nothing, and she remembers how she felt. And then now the kids doing this, and when they're 20, 30, 40 years old, they're going to go back to now. And that, that'll just kind of set them for life as far as this great path to go down of how they, were all about giving instead of always receiving.
It's amazing. It truly is. That is what they will remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so we have the supplies, of course, going out, and we're so happy to see that with the Salvation Army and all the other folks who help do that. We're here to help. It's just what we like to do, and it's great to see them doing it.
It is. It really is, Joe.
All right. Well, Tali Kirkland, thank you for that
Thank
story.
you.
You can look for it on fox5vegas.com as well.
Thank you.